All right, let's talk about something that's absolutely critical for anyone building with AI: how to control your costs by getting really smart about your token usage. What if I told you that you could potentially save over $11,000 a year? I'm not kidding. A simple 30% cut in your API calls can do that. And it sounds dramatic, I know, but stick with me and you'll see exactly how it's done. So, first, we need to understand the problem. I call it the token tax. It's the sneaky, invisible cost that hits you with every single API call. And believe me, it can silently bleed your budget dry if you're not paying attention. To put a real number on it, just think about this. 1,000 requests to GPT-4 Turbo a day, which is pretty normal for a small app, can balloon into almost $40,000 a year. That's a serious amount of cash. Now, here's where it gets really, really interesting. Not all tokens are created equal. The output tokens, the model's actual response, can cost anywhere from 2 to 5 times more than the input tokens you send it. This right here is the hidden multiplier where your costs can just spiral out of control. So, how do we fight back against this token tax? Well, it's not some kind of magic trick. It all comes down to a few core principles that really lean into how these models actually work. The process itself is surprisingly simple. We're going to get rid of all the fluff in our prompts. We're going to stop explaining things the model already knows. We're going to take charge and tell the model exactly how long its response should be. And we're going to ask for structured data, like JSON, instead of rambling paragraphs. Okay, theory's great, but let's see this stuff in action. We're going to walk through 5 before and after examples that show some absolutely mind-blowing savings. This is where it all gets real. All right, here's our first before. Look at this prompt. It's 85 tokens long. It's full of these polite but totally useless phrases like comprehensive response and detailed explanation. The model just doesn't need all that handholding. And now, the after. Just 8 tokens. It's direct, it's crystal clear, and it trusts the model to do its job. We've just sliced away all the noise. And the result of that one tiny change? A staggering 90% reduction in input tokens. 90%. And you get the exact same quality of answer. This is probably the easiest win you'll find in cost optimization. Example number 2. This prompt is asking about remote work. But notice how it's asking for a detailed analysis? That's basically an open invitation for the model to go on and on, generating 1,000 or more of those super expensive output tokens. The fix? We add 2 simple but incredibly powerful rules: a format, in this case bullet points, and a hard word limit. Just like that, we've taken back control of the most expensive part of the API call. And the result? A massive 75% reduction in the total cost of that request. This is proof positive. Controlling the output is your secret weapon for slashing those AI bills. Ugh, this is a classic mistake. This prompt is 180 tokens long, and you know why? Because it's wasting most of them explaining Python and the Pandas library to an expert AI model that was literally trained on all of that stuff. So what's the fix? You only give the model the context it doesn't have. Here, we're just giving it our specific dataset schema and the task we want done. The model already knows the rest. By trusting the model's huge built-in knowledge base, we achieve an incredible 86% reduction in our input tokens. The takeaway here is so simple. Don't pay to tell the model things it already knows.
Let's look at this one. It wants an analysis of customer feedback, but it's asking for a comprehensive report. You know what that means? A long, unstructured, token-heavy essay that's also a pain to use in your code.
Here's a way better approach. We explicitly ask for a structured JSON output. This forces the model to be concise and gives us something machine-readable, which is way more token efficient than just plain text. And that one simple change, it cuts the total cost of the call by 74%. Plus, you get a bonus. The output is perfectly formatted to be used directly in your application. No messy parsing required. Okay, so fixing individual prompts is huge, but let's zoom out for a second. You can find even bigger savings when you start thinking about your entire system. Just look at this chart. This is the single biggest lever you can pull: model selection. For simpler tasks, something like GPT 3.5 Turbo can be up to 60 times cheaper than GPT-4. You should always use the simplest, cheapest model that can get the job done. And don't forget these other system-wide strategies. You can batch similar requests together to cut down on overhead. You can cache results for common questions to just eliminate those calls altogether. And maybe most importantly, you have to monitor your usage. You can't optimize what you can't measure. So let's wrap this all up by focusing on the real prize, on what all this optimization actually means for you and your projects. Because at the end of the day, every single token you save is budget that you get back. It's money that you can now spend on building new features, serving more users, or just experimenting. So the only real question left is, with all that money you're about to save, what are you going to build with it?